Today, January the 15th, marks Equal Workplace Deaths Day. If men stopped dying at work today, then women's number of workplace fatalities may catch up for 2020 by the end of the year. I'd now like to hand the floor over to William Collins for some historical insight. If you don't have this book, The Empathy Gap, and especially if you're in the UK, I heartily recommend you pick up a copy. It's like a Bible for men's issues. William writes, I confess, like many other people, I may have been inclined to complain from time to time about health and safety gone mad, but we have reason to be grateful that modern standards of health and safety at work have improved beyond all recognition compared to, say, Victorian times. The Victorians were prodigious builders, but their many large civil works had a serious toll on men's lives. Building the Forth Road Bridge, opened in 1890, took 78 men's lives, for example. And we are talking virtually exclusively of men's lives. During the Industrial Revolution, prior to 1830, some 4,000 miles of canals were dug by hand in Britain by men with picks and shovels. By 1914, men had also built 20,000 miles of railroad by hand, with some help from explosives, including many cuttings, embankments, viaducts and tunnels. There are plenty of examples of high death counts constructing specific tunnels, viaducts or stretches of line. One such was the construction of the first Woodhead Railway Tunnel. At just over 3 miles, Woodhead 1 was one of the world's longest railway tunnels when it opened in 1845. At least 26 men died, other sources say 32, of the 400 men employed in the excavation and lining of the tunnel. The death rate among the men who built the tunnel, 8%, was said to be higher than that of soldiers who fought at the Battle of Waterloo. However, it has been estimated that around 200 men died constructing the Ribblehead Viaduct, on which some 2,000 men were working at its height, which is a higher death rate still, 10%. It is unlikely that the death rate was as high as these examples in all cases, but it is likely that of the million or so men who contributed to building Britain's canal and railway systems, the order of tens of thousands were killed on the job. However, even that prodigious death toll is exceeded by coal mining. Between 1873 and 1953, some 85,000 men were killed in British coal mines, as many as 1,800 in a single year. It is remarkable by today's standards that a single industry in a single country could cause over 1,000 deaths per year on average for decade after decade, and yet be considered acceptable. This is what male disposability looks like. To this day, men dominate the workplace death rate. According to the Workplace Fatal Injuries in Great Britain 2019 report, in 2018 to 19, men accounted for 139 or 95% of workplace deaths in the UK. The leading sector in which men died was agriculture, forestry and fishing, in which 32 died, followed closely by construction and manufacturing. Oddly, the report doesn't include armed forces occupations, which saw 61, nearly double the number of fatalities in 2018 than in agriculture, forestry and fishing, and would presumably alter the percentage of men compared with women who lost their lives, and make this video a little late if it was included. The good news is that since the 1980s, the workplace death rate in the UK has plummeted from around 500 per year to around 150. Less encouragingly, that figure has remained broadly flat since 2009. I think it goes without saying that if 95% of workplace deaths had women victims, the outrage would be immediate, immense, and quickly ameliorated. Some jobs do come with risk, and men may be more inclined to take those risks as well as more physically capable of working in those settings. However, With leading accidents like falling from a height and being struck by a moving vehicle, there is surely room for better practice that saves lives.